Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Michael. Today we're going to go over a mod that I created. It's called Outstanding Ores. Basically it adds a bunch of different ores and tiers to the game. Tiers of ores, which and materials as well. Each of them has their own effects and abilities. There's also special items, drop. We'll go over all of this. I also have this world download in the description. Yeah, let's start with first material. Here we got graphite. Pretty simple. Basically, you gain efficiency or you gain sharpness, depending on your weapon, depending on the item. So pickaxe, efficiency, same with shovel and hoe, but the sword and the axe grant you both. So there's an artist outline, which enemies you attack glow for 5 minutes, kind of like you draw an outline, has to do with graphite, pencils, and then you got sharpness. As you wear out, so at 75% ability, you gain sharpness 1, 50% you gain sharpness 2, then 25% you gain sharpness 3. So, and like these all have 196 durability. Pretty simple. This is found basically, I think it's level 55 and below, and anything below the negative numbers does generate a deep slate. So basically it, like, it's pretty simple, pretty early game tool. It's iron level, so it's I'd say it's fairly useful early game if you want to just like use it as a replacement for stone or even iron to an extent, because it is fairly on par with that in terms of dig speed. But yeah, next we have arsenic. Now arsenic is an interesting one. It spawns in the the dripstone caves, and basically it generates anywhere in there from any height to any depth. But basically each item has some sort of poison or wither effect that it either applies or is required. Like, so for the set, this one does not have an armor set. This is the only graphite is the only one that does not have an armor set. But with the set here, arsenic basically gives you immunity to poison and wither as long as you're wearing the entire set. So if I were to put it on, there are also achievements for each thing. So if I were to put it on now, it has blocks drop XP harvested, so dropping XP. But if we take it off, oh well, that it's dealing damage to us. That's the whole idea, is like, if you don't want to take damage, you just gotta put on the armor. You gotta have the full set. And the sword and the axe. So in this mod, yeah, the axe is a weapon more so, but it can still be used to chop down trees. Like, it's pretty, like, but it's more so a weapon than anything else. But yeah, they apply poison and wither for a short duration. Enemies. Oh yeah, these are also the materials. So to craft these items, you need a graphite rod, which the crafting recipes are. It's just 2 graphite on top of each other, kind of like a stick with wood. You get 2 of them. But yeah, so like there's raw arsenic and then arsenic ingot. Fairly simple. Then here we have tantalum, which, yeah, this one is diamond tier. We can dig up to diamond. Same with tantalum. So for tantalum, basically anytime it's in your main hand or offhand, you gain mending. So, and then same with, so the armor, you need the full set to have mending, but once you take one off, it loses mending. But this still has mending. So the way I remove it is just put it back on your head when you're not wearing the full set and take it off, and it removes. Like, I was trying to figure out how to fix this, but honestly I have no clue. I like struggle with that for like a day or two trying to make it work correctly, but it's like the best I can get it. But yeah, you basically just gain mending, and it's intentional like this because if you want to enchant it, you always have the option to enchant it as well. Same with this. So you put any of these tools in your hand, they gain the mending effect right away. Once you remove any of these tools, they lose them. So it's fairly simple. It's not too complicated. Yeah, pretty simple stuff. And then yeah, you use a talc rod, which talc is another material, but it's not used like for it's used for crafting more so than anything else, rather than actual weapons. Yeah, so this one is found basically anywhere in lush caves. It just generates, and it's fairly rare, but yeah, also the durability I believe is like 596. This one is I believe 750. I could be wrong. I'll probably I'm gonna make a wiki for all these items, so then make it for certain everything. But yeah, next we have tungsten. Now this one's basically the leap from netherite, so it leaps above netherite. Basically each item gives you, let's see, so each weapon gives you regeneration and health boost. So fairly simple concept. And then if you have the full set, you get resistance and strength. Yeah, that's about it. It's honestly pretty cool. Yeah, you need netherite to dig this up, and it spawns 44 and below. Negative 44 and below. So anything below negative 44, it'll generate, and it spawns in like groups of like 3 to 6, I believe. It spawned less, I think. Yeah, pretty simple. And yeah, I designed all these armor sets myself as well. So tantalum arsenite. Now this one is a combination of these two, which I'll show you over there how to make it. But basically it's right above tungsten, and each item has a passive of explosive. So to start off, let's start off with the armor set. So for the full set effect, you gain extreme blast protection. So when you're wearing the full set, you get blast protection 5. No, you don't. So you gain partial immunity to explosive tools, which is it's weird in the way that it works. But for the most part, you are immune to explosive tools. However, it still takes durability damage, so there is that. So while destroying a block, holding shift triggers. So let's try to do with the pickaxe. Now, see, I have the armor on. We'll do this. We'll do this. Actually, I mean, we could just do it right here. Oh, wait, what? Hold shift, it explodes, right? And then pig. Hold shift, it explodes. Okay, next we have Onyx. Basically, it's same tier. These two are the same tiers. So this does require a bit more. I'll show you that later, but it does require a bit more resources, a bit more difficult to obtain. But Onyx generates in the deep dark, and especially around the ancient cities. It's pretty durable, so like it takes a while to dig up, and it requires tungsten to dig up. So basically, each item, let's see. So let's start with the armor set actually. So while you're wearing the full set, you're immune to darkness, nausea, weakness, mind fatigue, and blindness. It kind of counteracts some of the effects that are not too, OP to get away from, darkness, nausea, weakness. It's more like irritating, right? It gets rid of the irritating effects, and it's kind of in line with the actual like Onyx, the real life Onyx, in terms of like having clarity, being able to see clear, and like certainly having a lot of positive effects in that way. And so the weapons of the sword and the axe have lifesteal, so basically you heal a little bit when you hit a mob. Let me summon a zombie to test this. Now if we hit him, heal a bit, get our full health. Yeah, it's pretty simple. Oh yeah, by the way, also what I forgot to mention, all of these blocks have their own like slipperiness, jump boost, or whatever, jump height. Some of them do, some of them don't. But for the most part, they do all have some sort of bonus properties to them, depending on the block you use. And now for the so for the tools, it's called block consumption. Whenever a block is destroyed, you gain saturation. Full armor set is required to negate being fat. Now, yeah, that sounds a bit OP, but you got to think about it. You got to get this from the deep dark after you get tungsten, after you get netherite, after, you know, like it's a process. And you also need echo shards to be able to craft this anyways, which, you know, you got to actually go to the deep dark for that, go into the ancient cities. So yeah, when you dig up blocks, you gain the saturation. I do have the apple skin mod to show that on full display. So yeah, you are too fat, it's harder than mine. Now it would basically the full armor set removes that from your actual passive, but so then you no longer get that effect. Now, okay, let's move on to the next one. Now, moissanite. This one is in the nether. It basically spawns like above, I believe 85 and above, either 80 or 85 and above, which is near the nether roof. And yeah, full set gives you fire resistance. Pretty simple. As long as you're wearing the full set, you get fire resistance. Now for the actual tools themselves, let's see. So let's start with the pickaxe. Way down. So pickaxe, molten rock. As you dig up blocks, you'll gain more haste, up to haste 4. When you lose cooldown, your haste will reset. So basically, this is the idea. You'll see the bottom, it says molten rock level 1, then molten rock level 2. The more you dig, the faster you dig. So 4, and now we're up to 4. And then once you stop digging, you lose the effect if you see the cooldown going down, and now molten rock lost. So fairly simple. It's kind of nice. Now for this, yeah, for the tools, for the weapons, I should say. Basically, yeah, you gain fire aspect 3 from both the axe and the sword. Pretty simple. It's a pretty long lasting effect. You know, fire aspect 2 is pretty nuts. So for the shovel, you have auto smelting. So now, yeah, the auto smelt, which you get glass and then terracotta. So it's pretty simple, nothing too crazy. And then now here for the hoe, it's very specific. Now this one, I kind of thought about it and I was like, you know what, fuck it. So it's called toastification. Harvesting hay bales bakes several toasty goods. And now, let's see. So basically, each hay bale drops a shit ton of bread. And it should drop 9. I don't know why I dropped 10, but alright. You know what? You have an extra one. Fuck it. But yeah, basically, every time you dig up a hay bale, it's like a multiplication way of getting food. Multiplicative by at least 3. You know, like 3 times you use 1 or 3 wheat for 1 bread. No, you use 9 wheat for 10 bread, which, you know, that's pretty efficient. I'd say this is pretty worth it once you get to that later stage of the game where you don't want to worry about food and you don't want to worry about using this tool specifically. Although I feel like this is one of the best tools to use for mining. So let's see. Yeah, that's really about it for this set. Also, what I forgot to mention. Okay, so end rods are used to craft it, so it's kind of like, you know, a normal tool is used kind of like a stick. And I believe, yeah, echo shards for this as well, and echo shards for that, yep. Okay, and now the next one, we got cubic zirconia. Now this one's found in the end, generates basically anywhere, it's pretty rare. Yeah, each tool, so this is like more of like an ocean type of material. And it gives you a lot of like heavy bonus effects. So let me show you this. You do, so you get a lot of movement speed while in the water. You get a lot of this shit, like it's insane the amount of stuff you get. Depth strider 5, respiration. This is only when you have the full armor. And when you were holding, while you were holding like a pickaxe, a shovel, or a hoe, you actually gain aqua affinity on your chest plate. Then once you remove it. So it's fairly simple. Okay, so now also, yeah, I forgot to mention toasty bread does give you a decent amount of saturation. I'm gonna nerf the saturation by a bit, because that is a lot for I'll show you the recipe after this. There's an actual recipe for this. But yeah, so for the armor, let's see, so we go in water, we get Dolphin's Grace, Night Vision, and then we also get, as long as these are in hand, we get the bonus effects. So it is pretty insane, like you conquer the water with this. Also, I forgot to mention, big thing, while you have any of these in hand, you gain water breathing. So if you remove it, no more water breathing. So yeah, like if you have these tools in your hand, you can just breathe underwater, which is very nice. And I mean, people should be able to do this at this point of the game. I feel like it is valid for you to be able to do that, especially with how far you go. Oh yeah, for the tools, right, you need Wither Spine Fragments, which I'll get to the boss drops after this. This next one, we have Graphite. So Graphite, it's one of the most broken sets you could ever really have, honestly. Let me go through each of these real quick. So let's start with the tool. So dig dug, while holding shift, dig out a 3x3x3 area around the initial block. I'll demonstrate that in a little bit. Fiery Judgment, a right click. After short duration, launch 3 waves of fiery arrows. 8-second cooldown. Basically, yeah, so on right click, after a short charge, you gain an extreme resistance and are launched in the air 3 separate times. When you land, the ground explodes beneath you. After each iteration, you are launched higher and explosion increased in magnitude. 15-second cooldown. Now, exploration spot. This is one of my favorite ones that I created. It was the most fun I had really creating anything in this mod. And basically, you have a chance of getting different resources while digging up sand. And yeah, it goes like, the percentages aren't exact, they're around, they're like an estimate of it, because it's hard to really tell how much the percentage was, but it's roughly, you know, on par with it. And then till the land tells out a 3x3 area, of course if it's dirt or grass. But yeah, so for full armor, it's called Cover Me in Minecraft. That's the achievement. Basically you get a bunch of these bonuses. While you're in water, you get the other bonuses. So if you see speed, resistance, jump boost, fire resistance, and strength, a lot of these, it's just basically the same all the way down. Each armor has its own thing, like projectile protection 5, thorns 5, soul speed 5, and depth strider 5. Let's say we go in the water. Now we're going to lose the other effects, so we're going to have Dolphin's Grace and water breathing. So it's pretty simple. And yeah, you get a lot of, this is a broken set, but it's broken on purpose. The amount of grinding you have to go through to get this is kind of rough. All right, let's start testing these. Now I'm hoping this actually, okay, so there, yep. So holding shift, you actually dig out the area, and now it digs basically, yeah, it's like a 3x2 in terms of in front, and then like the block that's above it will clear out too. Like if there were blocks around here, we'll clear that out too. So fairly simple. Now Graphite sword, basically you just shoot arrows after a short charge. Pretty simple. They're pretty lethal. You could destroy some fucking mobs with this. It's not like one of those weak weapons. It's actually pretty strong. And then Graphite sword, or Graphite X, basically this is, I'll just show you, I'll demonstrate it. So yeah, it deals a lot of AoE damage. It's larger than the explosion itself. I was trying to fix the particle effects on that, but like realistically, like let's summon a pig. You'll see the effects on him here. yeah, it one-shot him from that distance. The distance gets larger every time. It's a fairly interesting weapon. I did enjoy also making this one too. But yeah, Graphite shovel. Let me okay, so we have the sand set up here. Now let's test this out. So roughly dug up the sand. I mean, yeah, you could unlimited farm this if you really wanted to. You could, but it's a grind. You gotta still place down the fucking sand and actually dig it. I want to be able to like make it so that okay, it only works on whatever generated. But I don't know how to do that honestly. If anybody does know, please let me know. So last one, till the land. Let's get dirt real quick. That's pretty simple. It tills a 3x3 area. Nothing too crazy, but you know, it does have like these do have a lot of durability. So if I do F3, oh my bad, that is not the right F3H. Okay, I should have probably put that on before, but yeah, durability is pretty insane on these. Same with the armor, but let me actually hit me. Okay. Yeah, look at the durability on these. I'm taking basically no damage. Yeah, it's pretty nuts. Look at that. That is pretty nuts, but it's definitely a grind. I will show you the grind in a second. Let's just put this all back. Okay, so those are all the sets, all the ores and materials. Pretty simple. Now this is other items that I didn't really want to categorize, but basically, so there are mob drops from bosses now, like other than the original. And for the wither, you have the wither spine fragment, which 2 to 4 drop. Dragon scales 2 to 4 drop from the dragon, and elder guardian eye 2 to 4 also drop. And I'll get into the recipe later of that. And then the Graphite smithing template. Now this is found in the end cities, and it just randomly generates in the chests. It's in that loot table. Fairly simple. Now, when it comes to the warden rib, this is the original drop that you get, and it's also food that gives you bonus effects. And you get the warden rib piece, which that's what you get after you eat. I'll show you. So you get basically a full bar for 2 minutes and about 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Then you get regeneration just to like heal those hearts up, and you get night vision for 5 minutes, which honestly I really like how that turned out. I am going to adjust the actual like stats on that probably when it comes to, I want to give it more hunger. It gives you more what is it, hunger, or you more food, but then reduces in saturation. That's right. If you saw, the saturation was 24 on that, which alright, you don't need 24. But yeah, and then there's also the toasty bread, which I showed you before. And this, so reinforced alloy smelter, that was an alternative thing that I was going to do, but I figured out how to do something else with the smithing table, and I was like, fuck it, I'll do that instead. But yeah, reinforced alloy smelter does not do anything, and it's just kind of there. Okay, so now talc is the last material, which it's not really like a material, it's more of like a just a weird little I don't know, it's used for a lot of tool building and all that, but it spawns basically anywhere in the overworld randomly in like a veins of like I believe like 6 to 10 or something like that. This is like the original talc, and it's also glowing, and it's low in light level, but it's very bright in terms of like the block itself. Then reinforced talc, I'll show you the recipe for that later, which it's required for some of the recipes here. So now let's go on to the smithing table. Now the smithing table, it's fairly simple. I mean, wither spine fragment, elder guardian eye, and dragon scale, you get a graphite. You get graphite binding. Now Onyx, moissanite, and cubic zirconia, so all those 3 gems, you need it for the graphite base. Now the warden piece, graphite base, and graphite binding create you graphite, which that's like the, you know, end all be all kind of zero. So whenever you combine it with cubic zirconia, any sort of cubic zirconia weapon, and you put graphite. Oh yeah, we lost our health. But yeah, whenever you combine this, so you need the graphite smithing template, you need the tool, and you do this in the smithing table. You get the upgraded version of the tool. And then now, yeah, tantalum, reinforced talc, and arsenic ingot. This is how you craft the tantalum arsenite, which was the explosive material, which wasn't working. I'll get it to work. Yeah, so basically you combine that, and let's see. So let me show you the recipe for the reinforced talc. The reinforced talc is 2 tungsten and 2 talc shards. Now, for talc shards, I forgot to say, so talc, when you dig up talc, it does not it drops the talc block, but to craft the talc shards, you put it in a stone cutter. That's very important to you know, it's basically, you got this, you put it in a stone cutter, and yeah, you get the talc shards, and you can craft it into either the talc rods for the tantalum or talc shards for reinforced talc. And then there's here we have fused graphite, which is a block of graphite surrounded by talc shards. Basically gives you jump boost, like a jump boost on it. When you jump, it's higher. Glowstone dust around a block of graphite gives you glowing graphite, which it's just bright graphite. It's just a very, like, I'll show you the block. Here are the blocks. Like, if we were to, it would just glow. It's fairly simple in this one, just gives you a jump. But yeah, you do take fall damage. I want to, like, in one of my updates, I will remove the fall damage from whatever block that adds jump, but I don't know, maybe I'm still trying to think about that. I don't know exactly how to go about that, but I'll figure it out. So now let's go to the crafting. Oh, you already went through it. Okay, so we're on the last part of the crafting. Okay, yeah, this is graphite to make the graphite rods for I believe it was the arsenic. And then over here we got the smoker, which is just bread. You just put bread in there, and then you get toasty bread. Fairly simple. Now for the last part, here is the weaponsmith and toolsmith. Basically a maximum tier, master tier. Instead of having to craft it with, what's that? Okay, so it was tantalum, reinforced talc, and arsenic. So if you were to go to a villager and be like, hey man, let me try to get you to the master class, you know, he'll basically give you tantalum arsenic for tantalum arsenite trade, which is pretty good. You don't have to use you don't have to fucking go run for tungsten or talc. So, and then same with the toolsmith. Yeah, that's about it. That's about it for the mod. Fairly simple. Adds it does add a lot, but at the same time, like, a lot of this stuff is very, like, late game oriented, mid to late game. Fairly simple things, aren't too broken, I'd say. I'd say it's like, you know, it is a bit broken in some ways, but at the same time, it's like, at that point of the game, does it really matter? That's my whole philosophy with it. But yeah, I will fix this set. I don't know why the hell it's not working. You get 18 armor from the chest plate, 16 armor, 6. You know, here we got 14 armor, 12 armor, 12 armor, 10 armor. You know, it is fairly nuts, but you know what? It's my mod, alright. I decided this is balanced and this is balanced, alright. But yeah, that'll do it for this mod. I'll have the links in the description to the different sites depending on what you use: Modrinth, CurseForge, your Creator, which is what I use for this mod. I will still be updating it. I will still be adding things as time goes on. I will still be changing, fixing things. We'll just have to see, play it by ear. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys enjoy using the mod, and I'll see y'all later.